going on, y'all? What y'all doing, man? Y'all good? Y'all eating dinner? Y'all been smoking? Anyways, we here for a reaction, as y'all already know, from a channel called Mr. Nightman. We all know and love Mr. Nightman. Well, y'all niggas should. You're a good channel. Y'all go check him out. He make good content. This title, we just reacted to one. This title of this video is called Disturbing Dashcam Videos with Backstories. It's one of his recent uploads, you feel me? In October and shit. I be fucking with the Dashcam shit. Like even like Dashcam, like car shit, like crashes. Crazy Dashcam, road rage, people be mad and shit. It should be funny. It should be hilarious. I might react to that next. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's see.
In this footage submitted by Jason, something happens that if it weren't caught on Dashcam, you wouldn't believe it. It was around 1 in the morning. Jason was on his way to what he thought was going to be the house of a woman he matched with on a dating app. The person had given Jason their address over the app. They had not exchanged numbers. After putting the address into his phone, he realized that not only was the address 20 minutes away, it was also in a less desirable side of town. Against his better judgment, he got in his car anyway to head to the given address, which was in a cul-de-sac. After entering the cul-de-sac, he realized all 3 houses had all of their lights out, and when he tried to message the girl he matched on the dating app, she would no longer answer. After waiting a few minutes for an answer, he realized the person had unmatched him, meaning it may have been a trick or prank, and so he turned the car around. As he was leaving the cul-de-sac, he noticed someone on the sidewalk stepping out into the street, and so he locks his doors and slows down. This is the footage captured on the Dashcam. The footage is kind of grainy, so it's hard to make out some of the smaller details. But basically what happened, Jason slowed down as he saw a masked person walking into the middle of the street, immediately knowing something was off because there was nothing across the street except a busy highway. So he locks his door and comes to a stop as the person is directly in front of his car. Then the masked person reaches into his pocket, grabs a handgun that's a little hard to see in the video due to lighting, and starts running towards his driver's side door. Jason immediately steps on the gas and drives past the man, who then tries to open the door, which thankfully was locked mere seconds earlier. It's hard to see unless you pause and zoom in, but the man in the video was wearing a creepy smiling mask. The man didn't fire any rounds, but that's also under the assumption that the gun was even loaded or real. It's not that uncommon to hear about people using fake guns in scenarios like this. What was strange about this was while even though it was in a less desirable end of town, it was still a very residential block right next to a highway, so it was a slightly questionable place to pull this. However, it doesn't take a detective to put the pieces together that this was a setup
supposed to be right there with 3 houses.
Some unsuspecting guy to a dead-end road in order to rob him at gunpoint or worse. According to Jason, the spot in which the man stepped into the street was out of view of any houses as it ran alongside a long fence and bushes. Jason reported the whole incident to the police, including the given address. Jason was accompanied with a police officer to knock on the door of the address in question the next day, and an older woman who claimed to live alone answered the door. She claimed she had nothing to do with it, and that's obviously pretty likely to be the truth, meaning a random person simply chose that address because the street was low-key and hidden, debatably a perfect spot to try and set somebody up. Luckily, Jason didn't decide to stay put and got away without harm, because who knows what could have happened. Before the next clip, I just want to talk about today's sponsor, Aura. I read a lot of horror stories on this channel, but a growing horror story in America that more and more people are falling victim to is identity theft, with there being a new victim every 14 seconds.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
You may be unpleasantly surprised to learn if you care about. On November 23rd, 2016, the day before Thanksgiving, a fire began on the Chimney Tops Trail in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The fire was sparked by a group of kids playing with matches in the woods, and it was fueled by
shit. fucked up. Had to cut that bitch. Had to cut this bitch into two. Yeah, cool. Alright.
The day before Thanksgiving, a fire began on the Chimney Tops Trail in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. The fire was sparked by a group of kids playing with matches in the woods, and it was fueled by unusually high winds.
Damn.
Flames erupted in a remote area with steep terrain that made access to the fire difficult for firefighters. Crews spent 3 days working to create a containment area lower down the mountain. Helicopters flew overhead doing bucket drops to attempt to slow the spread of the fire.
About that fire.
On the fourth day, winds picked up and the fire spread, but the Gatlinburg fire chief said projections showed no immediate threat to Gatlinburg. Despite the predictions, on Monday, November 28th, dry weather and extreme winds caused the fire to grow rapidly. That evening, wind gusts of up to 87 miles per hour sent embers flying into Gatlinburg, wreaking havoc on the city and surrounding communities. Town officials reported that evacuation alerts were sent out to residents' cell phones, but many residents said they never received any alerts. 14 people were killed and 191 people were injured in the fire. The flames destroyed nearly 2,500 homes and left an estimated $2 billion worth of damages. Resident Michael Luciano recorded his and his stepbrother's horrifying escape down the mountain. During the drive down, just about every single passing cabin is seen engulfed in flames.
Oh, God. Lord. We'll get out of it. Hit the gas.
No, I don't think you can't
You
see.
can see. Why is every cabin on fire?
That's a good question.
I don't know about this.
Why is every cabin on fire?
Dude, this started at Natty Branch. We're going the wrong way. What?
He like, nigga, we going down. I know that's right. Like, nigga, we going down.
Oh, God, that was a beautiful cabin, too. Not now.
And at multiple points, the two men find themselves stuck behind fallen trees.
Go through.
Go through that.
Go
Go through that.
We cannot be stuck.
Nigga, you can go through that.
On the left side where these sticks are short.
Right.
Start.
Come on now. I can see that. Yeah.
Even at one point getting stuck behind another driver, which happened to be an old man who rolled his window down to tell Michael that he couldn't see.
Oh, shit.
Does this motherfucker want to die here? What the f is wrong with you? Go! Get the fuck out of here!
The old man ended up pulling to the side and following Michael's taillights down the mountain. At certain points, it seems very likely the men aren't going to make it out alive. But by some stroke of luck, they made it to the containment area with only minor damages to their truck.
Right.
Their luck didn't just end there, though. Their cabin survived the fires with very little damage, despite its close proximity to the surrounding engulfing flames. While this footage can almost make you feel like you're in the truck with them, it obviously can't compare to the actual fear of being in the suffocating heat inside the truck mixed with tension of the life or death situation at hand. In this footage, a young girl who wished to
that shit
remain
was great,
nameless,
but he was right.
although referred to her as Amanda, was driving home from her boyfriend's house. She had just pulled out of the driveway and started heading down her boyfriend's block when a car in the middle of the road came into view. The car wasn't moving but didn't have its hazards on, so Amanda waited for a few moments
and pulled around.
until the driver in front of her lowered his window
that's why I'm
and waited
moving
for her
like
to
that.
go around him.
I'm
So
cautious.
she
I'm
did.
going around.
Upon passing the car, she quickly realized the car behind her started moving as well.
Okay, I'm cautious.
Which at
Off
first
muscle.
wasn't
Off
too
muscle.
weird, but it became clear very soon
Nah, I'm
the
off
car was
muscle.
following her.
Okay.
After it started making the same turns she made.
Then I'm making
She started to make
four
as many
rights or
random
four
turns
lefts.
as possible, and sure enough, the car behind her stayed on her tail.
That's. If I'm finna make 4 rights or 4 lefts. Once I do that third one and you still behind
She
me,
then calls her
and I
boyfriend,
turn for that
which
4th one,
unmuted
and you
at her
finna
request
turn
for
too.
privacy, and she explained to him that somebody was following her. He reassured her to keep calm and everything would be fine, and to just drive to the nearest police station. So she looked up the nearest police precincts, and when they were only a few blocks away from it, the car behind her turned the opposite way, likely because they knew she was going to the police station. Still on the phone with her boyfriend, she told him the car behind her turned a different direction, so her boyfriend assured her she should be fine to go straight home. Just be cautious.
Motherfucker, stop.
Amanda drove home after this,
Nah.
which was in the same town, so it was unlikely to be a long trip home. She even checked to make sure the coast was clear before parking her car and going inside. But later in the night, she woke up to this.
We supposed to be able to see something? Why would you turn the window? I mean, why would
Amanda
you turn
heard
the light
sounds
on?
right outside her bedroom window, like someone was trying to lift it open from the outside.
Why would you turn the light on?
Once she turned the lamp on, the noise stopped.
I wouldn't turn the light on.
She called for her dad when she realized what was happening, and the occurrence was immediately associated with the vehicle that was following her earlier. So the family called the police to file a police report and showed them the dashcam footage of the vehicle following her. The vehicle could be identified as a BMW, and Amanda was asked if she knew anyone who owned a BMW that might want to hurt her. The only person she could think of was a guy named Christopher Crea, somebody who she blocked on social media for obsessive harassment, who happened to drive a black BMW. These were the last texts Christopher had sent to Amanda before she blocked him. Christopher happened to know Amanda's boyfriend personally through mutual friends, and through those connections, he knew where he lived. So the idea that this Christopher guy waited outside Amanda's boyfriend's house suddenly became a possibility. As an idle threat, Amanda's boyfriend sent an Instagram DM to Christopher that she was filing for a restraining order if he bothered her again. But his response was him acting confused and claiming he hadn't bothered her. Whether it was acting or not is a mystery, but nothing happens again at Amanda's house after that. So it doesn't seem too far-fetched that it could have been this Christopher guy.
Nigga, it was him.
The following dashcam footage was taken in the vehicle of Uber driver Christina Spikuza, and I want to warn you, while there is no
nigga has a whole
graphic
mask
footage
on.
shown, the story behind it is upsetting. 38-year-old mother of four Christina Spikuza was doing some night drives on February 10th, 2022, when 22-year-old Calvin Crew used his girlfriend's phone to order an Uber. Christina accepted the ride and picked Calvin up. He gets into the car in a sketchy mask covering his entire face except for his glowing eyes. She greets him by asking for Tanea and how are you today, but he doesn't answer either question, or if he did, it was likely an inaudible grunt.
Hi, for Tanea. How are you today?
Christina was extremely polite to Calvin, even asking how his day was going a few minutes in.
Did you have a good day today?
Calvin is seen turning to check if the coast was clear, and then lifting his mask up slightly before pulling a gun on Christina and threatening her.
I'm sorry?
Keep driving.
You've got to be joking.
Keep driving.
What are you doing?
This is the gun. Keep driving.
No, it's not. Stop. Come on, man. I got a family. What are you
I got a
doing?
family too. Now drive.
What are you doing?
Drive.
Please stop.
Drive the car, man.
Why are you doing this?
It's so much fun. Drive.
Why are you doing this?
Drive the car.
To
Complete
where?
the trip.
I cannot do that.
Complete the trip.
Why are you doing this?
Complete the trip.
Please?
He tells her to cancel the ride so that it could no longer be tracked. Not long after, he grabs her phone to gain access to her banking apps to transfer money to his girlfriend's
Get
phone.
off of me. Please. No.
Keep driving.
Before grabbing the dashcam and throwing it out the window, he tells her that everything will be okay if she does what he says.
You're saying everything will be alright.
But that later proved to be a lie. Christina's body was discovered by an Amazon driver 2 days later, lying in the woods 50 feet off the road, with a single gunshot wound to the head. Detectives found Christina's dashboard camera along the route of her last Uber ride, and the footage provided all the evidence necessary to prosecute Calvin for her murder. Prosecutors are currently seeking the death penalty for Calvin.
Nigga's a bum. Nigga's a bum. Yeah, that nigga tripping. Mr. Nightmare crazy, man. Mr. Nightmare crazy. I don't be talking like, man. You just gotta listen. That shit wild. Hey. I'm gonna see y'all later. Yeah, I might do another. I don't know. I'm gonna see y'all later.